I want to look at Kung Lao. I want to talk about Kung Lao in Mortal Kombat 11. I'm going to be looking, as you can see on the screen, I'm looking at Viennality from how long now? 2 weeks ago? 2 weekends ago? Not too long ago. Kung Lao, when the game first came out, I didn't think seemed that great, to be honest. I thought that he was a little underwhelming. You know, clearly, like, people found big combos for him immediately. Like, he was doing big damage very fast. But if you just look at his buttons, like most of his strings, let's bring up strings here. So, you know, strings are almost all negative, and they're negative like by a lot. -20, -27, -19. Even ones that are not unsafe are like -6, -7. That's not usually unsafe in MK11, but that's not your turn anymore. So there's just a lot of like, it seems difficult for him to continue pressure, and it seems difficult for him to stay safe. So while if he found a hit, like it's big, he does big damage. That seems like it's probably, that seemed in past tense, like it wasn't gonna be enough. So when the game first came out, I didn't think he was that great. I remember putting him in a tier list where I felt that he was, the way that I phrased it was, this set of characters can win a tournament by itself. This set of characters can win a tournament, but it needs to have a secondary. It can be a main character, but it needs a secondary to win a tournament. This set of characters needs a main and can only be a secondary to win a tournament. And then this last set of characters just can't. They just shouldn't be involved. They're just bad. I don't know that I had anybody in there. I don't remember now. But I had Kung Lao in the, I think, could be a secondary tier. Rather than even like he can win a tournament as a main, or just that he could just win a tournament by himself. I definitely didn't have him in can win by himself. I don't think I had him in can win as a main. I think I had him in can win, but only as a secondary. I wasn't alone. I was not alone in thinking that. Even some of the best in the past Kung Lao players, thinking of like Foxy Grampa, didn't play him immediately. Like he was playing Cassie at the start. Other players I know did play Kung Lao, but they were a little pessimistic about it. They didn't really believe in it. Fast forward to Viennality, what, a month and a half into the game's life, and he had 3 appearances in top 8. 3 appearances in top 8. So this is a character that we have thought pretty differently about. Let's see. Just over the past couple of months, and that's awesome. You know that the game has evolved in the way that it has, as fast as it has, is excellent. So you know, obviously he was not the only character in top 8. There was Hayatei won it with Erron Black. Tekken Master played everybody. Tekken Master played Sonya, Geras, Erron Black, and Kung Lao, and he got 2nd place. Foxy Grampa got 3rd with Kung Lao only, as far as I know, only. Dizzy got 4th with Sonya, and then Boki got 5th with, as far as I know, also only Kung Lao. And then you had Asadamatsu Cetrion, Yamini Johnny Cage, and Shark Teeth got 7th also with Scorpion, Cassie, and Erron. So, I mean, he wasn't like running the show, and for one of those players, he was not the main, but for 2 of them, he was the only character, and they both made top 8, and they made it far. And Foxy Grampa has made top 8 of each of the premieres so far on the MK Pro Tour pro competition. He's, you know, did it, I think, did he play only Kung Lao at CEO? I think so. I think at Combo Breaker he played some of Lao and of Cassie. I don't think he was exclusive. So what changed? This is like what I want to look into. Like what is it about how people are playing Kung Lao now that we see him so much more often? And I just saw a tier list like the other day, somebody who I think is a smart player who had him in A tier. So like not in the top tier, but like right outside of that. What's the deal? Yeah, he mostly played Cassie, is that right? At Combo Breaker? That's like what I want to say, but I'm just not sure. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, that's what we're going to do today. We're going to look at Viennality footage of the 3 matches where people played top 8. 3 of the matches where people played Kung Lao in top 8. Do I think Foxy was playing Cassie at the beginning since he didn't have enough time to practice Kung Lao? I don't know. I mean, like, we'll look at the way he plays Kung Lao. He's not playing rocket science. I mean, he's a fantastic player and very smart, makes great decisions, but they're not complex decisions, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know what you need to practice. I mean, combos, I guess, but like, what? It's not something that took a long time, is what I want to say. So I think it's more that he just didn't believe in the character yet fully. At, for example, at the summit, where he only played Cassie. I don't think he did play Kung Lao there. I think he just didn't believe in the character yet. But now, I mean, he's been getting top 8. Whoa! Thank you. Now he's been getting top 8 with that character, so you know he does believe in him. Anyway, the first match we're going to look at is going to be Dizzy versus Boki, which was in loser's side. Then we're going to look at loser's finals, which was Tekken Master with other characters versus Foxy Grampa with Kung Lao. Tekken Master won. And then we're going to look at grand finals, which was Hayatei using Erron versus Tekken Master using Kung Lao at the start. He then switches, but you know, he did play some Kung Lao. So these are all losses for Kung Lao. I should point that out, but that's not really, I don't think that matters too much. I'm not trying to figure out like whether the character, what the players could have done better or whatever. I just want to know like how are they playing him as a character now that we thought like wasn't, we didn't think about at the beginning. Like what is new, what is interesting, what's good now. So let's start. Man, I should mention as well that there are 2 variations for Kung Lao. This is Lotus Fist. There's also hat tricks. Lotus Fist gives him the orbital hat. So he throws the hat around him and it costs 1 bar of defense and 1 bar of offense to do that. So that's pretty expensive. But it's nice because orbiting hat is -7, which is, like I said, usually not punishable in Mortal Kombat. So I was talking about all those strings that he has that are not actually safe. In fact, some of them are very punishable. This is a way to make him safe, right? So orbital hat, you put it out, now you're safe. But it's expensive. And you don't get some of the other stuff that he does get in the other variation in hat tricks. In hat tricks, he gets the little like guided hat, so he can like kind of pilot it up and down when he's throwing it. He gets the ability to do a teleport from the air, and he gets Z hat, which is really good. Z hat can be plus on block. You can cancel it. There's setups that are really strong. It seems, you know, it's not the best zoning tool per se, but in some matchups it does come out like that. So he has these 2 variations. Do you want the ability to make yourself safe with orbital hat, or do you want the ability to sort of, you know, control the screen better, basically, and move around better? So that's the question. That's the decision to be made. Yeah, Trini, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, so I'm going to be talking about the things that people are doing now that they weren't doing at the start, and that, you know, he took a little bit of time to develop. Anyway, I'll get into it. Here we go. Like I said, these are all losses, so heads up on that. I just want to know like what the players are doing, right? Dizzy is a super good player from the UK. Very young. I think he's still in high school. This is a perfect example right here. So that string would have been unsafe, but Boki goes for the cancel. Now the cancel is not plus, right? I was just saying it's -7. So while that's not, Sonya can't punish that, okay? But it's her turn, right? She definitely can move if she wants. Let's see what he does here. So what is, that's like forward 1, 2? What's the string? I think so. Yeah. Forward 1, 2, I believe. Or is that forward 1, 3? That might be forward 1, 3. Let me know. I get his strings mixed up. But in any case, if it's forward 1, 3, that's -19, and forward 1, 2 is -7. I don't think that's forward 1, 2. I think it's forward 1, 3. right? Anyway, so he wants to make himself safe, which he does. Oh, it hit. Okay, so my bad. It hit rather than just being on block. And on hit, it is plus 12. So that means it's definitely Kung Lao's turn. But I wonder if Dizzy has had much experience against this variation, because it's not the one that Foxy plays. He and Foxy play in the UK. But Foxy plays the other variation. Bam. So this button is very important. Forward 4 is what he started this string off with. Forward 4. Oh, I went back too far. So it's not that forward 4 like wasn't known about. Bam bam. Right? I mean, it's one of his like base tools. But I didn't hear anybody talking about it as like a particularly important button, especially in comparison to some other characters' forward 4s. Forward 4s in MK11, they tend to be like big buttons. A lot of them are sort of forward moving. Many of them are plus on block. Many of them are safe on block. Many of them sort of create offense. Although some of them have a lot of startup, there's still like a good utility in them. His is actually not plus. It's -3. Forward 4. But what is great about it is that it's cancelable and it's hit confirmable. It's super easily hit confirmable. This is not the old times in Mortal Kombat where you couldn't hit confirm an individual hit. That's not... Most moves aren't confirmable by themselves. But there actually are like a substantial number now where you can confirm them by themselves. And this is definitely one of them. Forward 4 is very doable because it's 2 hits. Bump, bump. Okay, cancel. And you have a window there at the end to cancel too. So that is great. Now, it does mean that you put yourself at -3. But as I've been talking about, that's safe. In MK11, you get to play a mix-up when you're a little bit minus. I hope that we'll explore that a little bit with what the players do. If not, I'll just talk about it, but we'll see. Ooh, great block. I mean, exactly. Okay, so this is one way to intro the mix-up that you play after you're slightly minus. You're not minus enough to be punishable, but you are minus enough to be safe, and that means you have a bunch of different tools. So the opponent in that situation, what can they do? Well, they get to press a button first. It's their turn, but their turn turns into, you know, one of a few different quite varied options. One is grab, right? But grab is duckable. You can just neutral duck it, or obviously you can jump it, as we just saw Boki do. So if you're the defender, now it's your turn. You could grab, but what if they duck, or what if they jump, or whatever? You could press a button, but your fastest button tends to be a high attack as well, so that can also be neutral ducked. If you try to do a mid, most characters in the game, their mids are not mega fast. There are some important exceptions to that, but most characters are, you know, 11 frames and lower. Some are 9, okay, but most are not that fast. So at that, if you're like an 11 or 13 or whatever, or some are much worse than that, mids, then the opponent, after they attack, they could definitely press the button before your mid lands. So you get the mix up, right? As the person defending, you could throw, but that could be teched, that could be jumped, that could be neutral ducked. You could do a high attack, which tends to be faster, but that could be neutral ducked as well, and then whiff punished. Or you could do a mid, which they have to block, but which tends to be a little slower. So that's like the important mix-up in that situation. So to put yourself at -3, oh, you could also, of course, do a flawless block into flawless block up 2 or flawless block up 3, depending on the situation. So that is to say, if you expect that they have, for example, if it's Jackie and you have to contend with her 9-frame mid, you can flawless block that and then up 2 to punish, or up 3, I guess, depending on the character. That's an important part of the mix-up as well. So you have all of these tools to continue to steal a turn, okay? So to put yourself at -3, I think is actually not as bad as we sort of thought when the game first launched. Typically, like, you don't want to be minus at all, but in this game, it doesn't seem quite as harmful. Oh, dang. That sucks. By the way, you can definitely hear the crowd. Well, if you guys can, let me know if you can hear the crowd at all. But they're way in favor of Boki because he's the Austrian player in the top 8 in Austria. Dang, he lost this? That sucks. That actually sucks. What happened here? Like any... Oh, now not anything will chip. Oh, that should have been dive kick probably. I don't know. Whatever, I screwed up. Alright.
Being very, very defensive, and then in the scramble, you just need one more hit. It can sometimes be really hard to decide what to do, because the dive kick was unsafe, right? You're going to dedicate to that when last breath was a factor? I think not. Oh no, the wake up down 2 was a bad call to make there, getting completely crushed by the back 1-4. Confirms as well. Side switch? Yes. Okay, down 3.
Yeah, that's an important button too. And the more that we see people play, the more we see forward 1, the little you know, whatever. That's really good. It's not, I mean, by itself, it's like a, what is it, 10 frame mid. That's strong, but it's also that it can continue into a string. We already seen forward 1-3, forward 1-2s in there as well. Those are nice and can be made safe if you have orbital hat. Can even turn into pressure into damage if you have orbital hat that hits. What up? Thank you. And if you don't, then you can do it again, right? So forward 1 stagger is an important tool.
Careful, you see, just he has to be so careful on the defense here against Sonya. Oh,
what? That was awesome. What happened here? No. Wow, whatever. Dang, he's actually doing the overheads too? Wow. Those overheads are unsafe. What is it for Kung Lao? They tend to be like -10 or something. Let's see. Hop attacks. Worse than that. -12 for up 3, -14 for up 2. That's a bummer. Was he trying to... He might have been trying to flawless block. Let me see the situation again here. Okay, so what happens sometimes, it happens to me too, is as the opponent's getting up, sometimes I'll try to flawless block and then up 2, right? So if I'm expecting that they're going to do a wake up button, or if I'm expecting that they're going to do a wake up attack, flawless block, you punish it. But you can do option selects to avoid having to do the big ol' like hop attack, because there's a lot of startup on that. It's not safe. So their OS is to instead do down 1s or forward 2s or whatever. But we're not seeing that here. Dang, he did wake up teleport? What a genius. Okay. Well, look, I mean, we saw some stuff that I think is important to point out, and things that we weren't seeing as much at the beginning with Kung Lao. I mean, we just weren't seeing that much Kung Lao, but like I said, I feel like the evolution of understanding of the game has made it so that putting yourself at minus is like not as big of a deal as it has been in the past. You saw some mobility, you saw some staggers. I mean, staggers are not like a new idea in NRS games, but forward 1 I think is, I mean, I didn't see people doing that like on the first few weeks. I didn't see a lot of Lao, but when I did see it, I didn't tend to see that. And as we'll see, thank you. As we'll see, that's not everybody's style even. Not everybody does that.
Especially if you got an advancing mid that keeps the opponent grounded. The crowd, they're going to be cheering for Boki. They do want their hometown hero to win this.
Yeah, you can hear Boki getting cheers. Woo! Dang, he overcommitted. Bomber.
Amazing heads already. So that was an expensive sequence from Boki. He spent a bar on the orbiting hat just to use it.
So that's really good as well. The little down 3 check. I feel like that is actually one of the better down 3s in the game. His down 3, what is it? I think it's 7 frame startup. Let's see. Yes, 7 frame startup. It's -5 on block, but as I've been saying, putting yourself at minus is like not as big a deal as it has been in the past. And on hit, it's +10, so that means you get to at least guarantee like a forward 1 or something like that. So it's a way to create pressure, which I think is cool. And it's got a great hitbox. I mean, like look how he kind of ducks when he does it, and he sticks his leg out. Yeah, that's a good button right there. Like it's a good turn stealer. Wow.
Lost half his life almost, and most of his resources for that decision, unfortunately. Okay, big jump kick.
Oh no! The delay. I mean, that's something that blows everybody up. Delays. Oh, that's punishable, I'm sure, right? Let me see. Let me see. Hold on. Hold on. It's got to be punishable. Regular hat? Come on. Hat toss. Minus 13. Yeah.
DZTT very, very good at confirming the 1-3-4, even if it hits a little bit late.
Woo!
Able to confirm now. Wake up roll. Instant jump kick. The read's going to be on point. The forward one doesn't confirm the rest of the string, just in case.
Yeah. Speaking of good turn stealers, there you go.
It feels like already things
What's going on? Thanks for hanging out. Talking about Kung Lao. Oop.
Very carefree, right? Like he's very confident. He knows he beat Boki yesterday. You know, he is one of the younger players. It's not going to take very much to wrap.
Yikes.
And he's playing like that right
Can I talk about that crushing blow? I feel like that's one of the best crushing blows in the game. It's not Geras, but it's. I feel like that lands every game, right? That's just so frustrating. She's got all these offensive tools, and then, by the way, also a crushing blow out of a projectile that she can hold. Yeah. So that's one of the issues as well with forward 4. We've seen him on pressure a lot do forward 1, because like I said, that can go into a string, or you can stagger it. You could also do an orbital hat at the end of the string. Forward 4, I talked up quite a bit because it's only minus 3. It's hit confirmable by itself. It's got a great hitbox on it. But the problem is that there's nothing, doesn't go into anything. So delay wake up is a beast in MK11. It's a beast because there's like multiple timings where you can get up from it. So rather than just being like, okay, you wake up with a normal timing, or there's one other delayed wake up timing. No, there's different timings. And that means that if you want, you could do what Dizzy does right here and slightly delay and then get up and whiff punish the forward 4. So the forward 4 has that downside. A longer string doesn't have quite as much downside. If you're an absolute genius, you can do a little bit of a delay and then sneak a poke in between the hits of a string, you know, but that's less common. So if you have a longer string that can keep yourself safe still, that's a way to avoid this problem. But forward 4 by itself definitely runs into it a lot.
It's easier said than done, for sure. You can have a much easier time with it, and that's what we're seeing from Dizzy right now. Dizzy dropping the whiff punish on wake up, but able to
wow, wake up jump. He's so active. Oh, interesting. Okay.
He's getting little hits here and there, but
you see what I'm talking about? It's being at minus in this game is not like being minus in Street Fighter V or many other games. In fact, this is a game where you steal turns. You steal turns in this game, and it's so interactive. You have all of these tools to do it: flawless block, jump, neutral duck, a lot of different tools in order to do that stuff. I guess limitedly the armor on fatal blows. Like there's just a lot of different ways to steal turns, and that feels cool.
From game 1, Boki hasn't landed
Delay wake up, a lot of stuff.
Significant connection yet. Because every time he leaves the ground,
Ooh, yo, and didn't confirm. That's a big bummer.
Here comes the grab now. Now Boki has that fatal blow, and it will kill at this health.
It's a good fatal blow.
Chip damage into it.
It's good range, yeah. So you see Dizzy like not giving into it.
I thought for sure that might be it. And he's just waiting for the counter poke.
Nice. Yeah, Dizzy's definitely making short work of it. I mean, these are losses for Kung Lao, but still, we're getting a sense, I think, of what the character's capable of that we sort of didn't see as much in him when the game first came out. I didn't, at least, to be honest. I knew that there were people at the time who were like, "You guys don't think Lao's good? He's good." But you know, yeah. To be frank, I wasn't one of them. There you go. Dang. Ooh. Okay, that's plus, right? Isn't that plus? Let me see. Right, that's 2-1, 2-1-2, I believe. Let me see. You gotta look at the hands sometimes. Right? I'm looking at combatacademy.com. I wish they had pictures, but you know, that's too much to ask, I guess. Anyway, I think so. Hey! Thank you for the confirmation right there. Sweet. Dang, he's so active, dude. Man, what a character.
Get out of here, Twin. Stop stealing my brain. Match point for DizzyTT. No. Okay, last round to go. God, Boki has such a mountain to climb. This has been a fast.
Oh, no confirm. Oh, that's a big bummer.
He's not always getting a hit for it, but it's showing Boki that
He definitely could have gotten that. I mean, if you see somebody rolling away, because that's what it was, right? It was a roll. Roll. Yeah, it says punish on the right side there. Rolls have, I believe, 5 frames of punishability on the end. So if you have something that is like attacking into them that you know is going to last a while, like forward 4, and you see them rolling, I feel like that should just be a confirm. But cool. Oh, this is not defend the north. This is just match analysis. Yeah. It's so good. Here we go.
He needs more. He needs so much more.
Oh.
The whiff. No punishment though, really, Dizzy. He's gonna get a grab anyway. This is Boki's last lifeline. He has to do something. Oh, the drone drop coming in hot. And there it is, the -7.
Okay.
Okay, it's confirmed. Dizzy has no bar. This could be huge. You see the fatal blow? No, holds it. Oh, the no
he just didn't think it was time to go in. I mean, you can't hit confirm a single forward 1. I don't believe that. So this was him trying to get stagger pressure, and unfortunately it did hit, which meant that he could have gotten more. Like, he probably could have just won with a fatal blow there after the string, but just didn't think it was right time, unfortunately. So bummer for Boki, but you know, we're seeing stuff I think that the character has that we didn't see as much at the beginning. So forward 4, putting yourself at slight minus, not as big of a deal. There's plenty of ways to steal turns. Forward 1 being a good stagger. We saw that I didn't talk about the dive kick enough. That's Lao forever that he has a dive kick. But when the game first came out, you know, our sort of rush to judgment as a scene is, do you have a good forward advancing mid? Are you safe on block? Thank you. Do you deal big damage? Do you have an overhead low mix up? Like these more sort of fundamental questions. And then later is like, okay, the other stuff. What's your good anti-air? Like, what's your mobility? Like, what's, you know, the sort of secondary phase of searching is then when we're like, oh, by the way, it turns out that he has an awesome dive kick that can whiff punish stuff and you can stay away. You know, by the way, this character has an excellent wake up. Like, that's like a little bit, that's not immediate. Oh, are we talking about Tester Might? RIP. Well, I mean, it exists. You're talking about it. You went there, but I haven't been to Tester Might in. I mean, in terms of like regularly going there, probably Injustice 1. No, I posted there during MKX and early tech stuff, but even then I had checked out mostly. I feel like probably in Injustice 1 is when I stopped posting regularly there, and a lot of people did it about the same time, give or take a couple of years, because. You know, as Cherney's talking about, Twitter is a little stronger. I mean, is it stronger? No, I like the format of a forum, for sure. It's way better for archiving things, way better for a lot of stuff. But we're all on Twitter. So it's just easy to be like, oh, hey, Twitter, here we go, it's right here, than posting on the forum. And the forum, sort of as forums have been drained of people, I feel like the people who are left are just, I don't know. They're not posting the cool tech. They're arguing about weird stuff. I don't know. I don't get that much out of it now, unfortunately. I still really like the forum format, but unfortunately, we've all moved on. We're on Twitter and Discord and stuff like that. Yeah, Tekken Zaibatsu's like that. Shoryuken is like that. I mean, all the old sites that I used to go to are like that. Yeah, that's how it is, man. Well, are they nerdier than the rest of us? I'm not convinced about that, but they aren't posting cool tech and they are posting about stuff I don't care about. So I'm not there anymore. Anyway, whatever. So we're talking about Kung Lao, and I do think that we saw, even though this was a loss for Boki, I think we saw stuff that we like weren't talking about, we weren't thinking about at the beginning when the game was newer. Let's move on.
Especially early on in the circuit, will save you so.
This is Losers Finals.
Later on in the year, we've seen so many
Tekken Master and Foxy Grampa.
5 points here, like 10 points.
And Tekken Master is the kind of dude to come in with a ton of different characters. He does a lot of homework. He always plays multiple characters. He's not a solo guy. Even I've talked with him in some cases where he'd like to be more of a solo guy, but in those cases he doesn't think the character's good enough to do that. So he's always got multiple characters. And what did I mention in this top 8? He played, I think 3 or 4. Sonya, Geras, Erron Black, and Kung Lao. It's in top 8. That's not even the whole tournament. I don't know what else he played.
Versus Tekken Master.
Versus Foxy Grampa, who's just playing Kung Lao. So now we're gonna see the other variation of Kung Lao. This is hat tricks. Before we saw what was it called? Lotus Fist, I believe, right? For the orbital hat. So this is the variation that's gonna have the pilotable regular hat. Pew! It's gonna have the Z hat, which is probably the biggest thing about it. And you can also do air teleports.
However, much like Foxy, Tekken Master does bring his own unique bit of spice to a character pick, and if these guys haven't really gone head-to-head recently, it could definitely go either way. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen, this is the MK11 Pro Competition Losers Finals.
Yeah, I get believing more in hat tricks. I think it makes sense. I mean, I talked about the difference between the two variations at the start of this, but just to recap, so those are the tools that this character has: the pilotable hat, we already saw it, the Z hat, and air teleport. Whereas for the other one, for Lotus Fist, all you get is the orbital hat. But the orbital hat makes strings that are otherwise punishable safe. You don't have to make big bets. You can continue pressure. So after forward 4, you can then do orbital hat. And although forward 4 is not punishable, people try to take their turn immediately after that. But if you then do orbital hat, they'll get hit when they're trying to press a button. So it's a way to like continue pressure more. This is the variation that I think is a little bit more about movement and spacing. Z hat Medius plus 27. Dang. It's pretty good. I mean, Z hat's legit. Z hat is a good move. Like it, well, whatever. I'll talk about that part later. But yeah, it's a good move for sure.
We're seeing a lot more of a full screen keep away oriented Sonya from Tekken Master. Dizzy wasn't quite able to establish this as much.
Ooh, no, I'm sure he tried to place that right at her feet. Oh yeah, Z hat. Z hat is. Oh, this is what I'm talking about. Yep, neutral ducking.
On the grab and the down 2. It's gonna be gone for now, but at the end of the day, that's a win for Tekken Master. He was
I'm telling you, every game that hits. Every game.
Now a big change here between Tekken Master and Dizzy. We said before, when Dizzy reads a throw, typically he'll just neutral jump or he'll jump out on a read. Tekken Master, very willing to just sit there and crouch. The big payout on that down 2.
It's so good, dude. The meter burn ring. Oh my god.
Big changer here. It becomes a game of big risk, big reward on both parties. You know, Foxy takes
I like this. This is when I first saw Lao. As I said, I wasn't thinking yet about the movement that much, with the exception that I think the teleport is ass in like random neutral situations. So conceivably, in this situation, he could guess that Sonya is gonna do a fireball, and he does a teleport, and uh-oh, now I'm in your face. I can do a grab, or it's an overhead, or whatever. But it's just that's bad. I don't know. I think it's not good. So I like that Foxy's not doing it, is what I'm trying to say here. He didn't punish it? Wow. Oh, probably false, but that's cool. Oh, that might have been on reaction, actually. So here's the problem with Z-Hat. As you can see it, well, I'll play it. It takes a while to come out. I think it's like 20 something, right? Let me see. 38 frame startup. That's not. I thought it was less than that. Jeez, that is gigantic.
Every single throw Boki did, every single one, Tekken Master actually.
I mean, there's other stuff to say here about this match because Foxy Grampa is known to throw a lot, and it's not everybody knows that, but they still get thrown because his timings on it are just so good. Like he just picks the right moments. Thank you. But in this game, man, Tekken Master managed to duck like every throw. So there's more to say about the interaction between the players, of course, but I'm just looking at the character here. Trying to.
No, but I feel like this is just the kind of player that Tekken Master is. He is not.
Did I see Splash at NLBC last night? No, I was asleep. He was guaranteeing teleport mix by having orbiting hat. Oh, he has orbital hat. Okay. Right. So for sure, orbital hat plus teleport, I do think is more legit. I definitely do think is more legit. Because then it's not just a free counter, you know? I mean, the problem with teleport typically is you see him go whoop, whoop, and even if he delays underneath, even if he's like underground, like who cares? Then you neutral jump, then you backdash, like whatever, you're out of there. And so many characters can just do like down one into whatever move and then get a combo. Like as Baraka, I'm just doing down one into spines and then I get a juggle. A lot of other characters can do something similar, so it's just whatever. But if there's an orbital hat out, different story.
To just make the read, dedicate to it, and then accept his reward.
And that's not something that like is a new idea necessarily. It's just I think the new idea there is, are you okay with spending 1 bar of offense and 1 bar of defense? That I think is the variation in terms of how people approach the character. Because when he was new, like obviously one of the things you can do is orbital hat, then teleport. Okay, it's just, okay, you did that, but who cares? You did an overhead. That knocks me down. Who cares? You had to spend an offense and a defense. But now I think we're, as a scene, kind of becoming a little bit more liberal with usage of meter. Like doesn't feel quite as expensive to do that.
Against Bio yesterday, in the Kano, and that's a big part of how that matchup went, because he was able to just read the grab, crouch the grab.
That was sick punish.
And he's doing the exact same thing now against Foxy.
Oh.
He's playing this matchup so well, and now he's up to go a little bit more aggressive. Like, if you have all of the
he did it again. Okay.
Down two, why not just try and press the advantage a little bit? Now he's got the life lead.
So you see this range that Tekken Master's picking. He's picking this so well. So look at this range where he throws fireballs right here. That is a range where he's probably not going to get whiff punished by dive kick. Closer in. Yeah, that was the perfect spot. Closer in, and he could get whiff punished by dive kick, but he's just picking this right range. So this is excellent play by Tekken Master, but it also shows that there's this like half screen where as Kung Lao, you can definitely do jump into dive kick, and it punishes a lot of fireballs or just laggy moves at that range.
Press the advantage a little bit. Now he's got the life lead. He can go back to this retreating style. Foxy only really had a chance.
He hopped over down 3. That's so sick.
That is not the case here in the second game. All right, confirmed. First catch him. See that? Yeah, no breakaway.
Oh wow. Okay. So you can cancel the hat. I mentioned that before, and he does that sometimes. That's 1 offense, right?
First catch him. See that? Yeah, no breakaway.
What's defense? Oh, of course. Yeah, it's defense. Yeah. So he spends a defensive bar. That is, like I said, we're beginning to think that's. I mean, I haven't had this like explicit conversation with people, but just in how I've been playing and how other people have been playing, I feel like it's not as big of a deal to spend a bar of defense or bar of offense, as it first seemed. You know, we're getting used to the fact that the meter comes back. And while if you do breakaway, it takes forever for it to come back. If you do most of these special moves that have defensive bar requirements, they take a lot less time. Like, pay attention to how long it takes for him to get a defensive bar back. It's not going to be that long. So during that time, you don't have wake up attacks. You don't have wake up roll. You don't have flawless block up 2 or 3. But, you know, that's because you have other tools. That's maybe not that big of a deal. Like, you still have delay wake up if you're waking up. You still have other ways to steal turns.
Fully ready for this matchup. Now Foxy's trying to enforce.
Oof, I'm telling you, that's amazing.
How many times is this man gonna guess right? Oh, and that's gonna be.
Oh well, hey, look, man. Here's an instance where I bet the Foxy Grandpa wishes that he had that defensive bar, right? So let's just count the time. I paused it a bunch here, but when he did the defensive cancel, okay, so here it is. There's 63 on the clock.
All the roll, but no punish. I really love that. Tekken Master looks fully ready for this matchup. And now Foxy's trying to enforce more back. Oh my god, another one! How many
Okay, so it took about 12 seconds for it to come back. 13 seconds for it to come back.
Of course, Sonya.
If he hadn't spent that defensive bar, he would have had that meter to escape, because he wouldn't, right? Because he had a bar and a half basically. So that's that's the risk that you take. But like I said, I think that's It's every game.
There it is, the second hit.
It like hurts to watch.
Every time. Because he hasn't eaten every forward four either, so he's making the read.
Look at his spacing, man. Tekken Master is playing this so well. Oh, here you go. Yeah, finally.
Boki needs a lot more because he was caught in the air. The amplifier is not going to do a massive amount of damage. And right there it is. I'm honestly surprised that Tekken Master did the first throw. The first throw we see connect. It just took 1.5 games to get there. Oh, I wonder if Tekken Master was going for the flawless block almost on that jump in. We're seeing a lot of people fail.
What? Oh,
jump
yeah, okay.
The flawless block is going to be his go-to.
Finally, okay. So during this time, the threat of dive kick is why he gets these jumps. Yeah, you see how concerned Tekken Master is about the dive kick there. That's why Foxy Grampa gets to jump forward. So that's good. It's really good for the character that he has that threat. Is he the only character now who can change his jump arc? No, I guess there's a couple others, Scorpion and stuff, but there's not that many. There used to be more. Like there used to be more characters with stuff to do in the sky. I guess Kano's an option, but whatever. The point is that there's not that many characters that get to do that, and his is really fast.
Now, find a new rival.
Thank you. So that makes people respect it. And so, like I said, there's this range where you don't want to throw a fireball, and then maybe if you try to anti-air, he's just going to do a dive kick and change his jump arc, and now he's going to hit you instead. So that's what allows him to move in here. Wow, what was it? Oh, it was back one. So this is a way to steal a turn. What is it from her?
Now, find a new rival.
This is 9 frames. So if you do the math here, that is, he was at -3, then a 9-frame button comes out. So if he has a 6-frame button, then he can just beat it. But I think why this actually wins here is that, because it's 7 frames, is that look at the hitbox on it. You see how his hurtbox like is way back. It's way back here. So he like removes his body from being up close. And that's, I feel like, why this works. So this is yet another way that the character can steal turns. I talked about the down 3 before, but I do think it's really good. Really useful. And if you hit with down 3, then it's your turn. You get to do stuff.
Oh, that last minute jump kick. I wonder if Tekken Master was going for the anti-air. You saw Fox again. Sit there and block, trying to bait out that fatal blow. Now the trade game begins again. Crushing blow on the finisher.
Now,
So that's not going to be in
find
play.
a new rival.
Oh, interesting. Okay, setting it up. Man, that's quite a way to steal a turn. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, as long as the Z-Hat didn't play, it will go, whether Kung Lao trades or not.
I don't know if that's a good call to do Z-Hat in that way.
Oh, no clip. Block on the overhead, and there it is, the mid. I wonder if that Tekken Master is actually...
Oh, he tried it again. Okay.
Because he has breakaway. Oh, for sure. No, we saw that again at CEO as well. Like, players
Oh, yeah, if I didn't make that clear enough, back 1 is a high, for sure.
really willing to use those resources to...
I guess I didn't say that. That's true.
If you've got the breakaway, you can afford to do something a little bit more dangerous, you know, like eat the forward four.
Oh, here you go.
Reactionary dive kick.
I'm surprised he didn't spend bar on that. Okay, well, whatever.
Preemptive. There's the low. Well, ultimately, it's a lifeline, isn't it? If you have your breakaway available, you can make...
Man, this is played so well by, well, really both, but Tekken Master, his spacing is so good.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, I just talked him up. Come on, buddy.
Want to get another. Down 3. And there it is, the poke. Oh, okay, another short hop coming out of Foxy.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, easy confirm.
Get a second game here. And he's just playing
Yeah,
like a
what was it after here? It was after down 3?
Oh, okay, another short hop coming out of Foxy. Oh, that's it.
Good work.
Tekken Master's going to get a second game here. And he's just playing around the up close exceptionally well. I'm really impressed.
Yeah, Tekken Master played this really well. I mean, Foxy has, like I said, he's been... Is he the most consistent player, maybe? So far? In the actual pro competition? Because he's made top 8 at each event. Now, not every player who has made top 8 at the first 2 was able to go to this one, because it was really expensive for US players to go. For whatever reason, it was like a lot more expensive than it was for the Canadians. So that's why Honeybee and Biohazard and Hayatei are all here. But yeah, the Americans, it was just too much money. Like, I went, but I only went because they paid for my ticket to go commentate. And it was like $1,500 bucks. So I get it.
I feel as well, but still. Foxy now 2 games down. Tekken Master 1 game away from getting that run back against Hayatei in Grand Finals. Tekken Master's fearlessness has given him one hell of a head start here.
Dang! Oh no! That's, you gotta punch that.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, that does suck. Catch up.
Putting him down immediately. The crushing blow comes through.
Every game.
And I mean, Tekken Master working on the verge of a 3-0 here in losers finals.
Whew, the range on down 3. Jeez.
Tekken Master looking to block. There's the patience. And there's the hesitation.
So think about this, the forward 4 pressure here. I've been talking about how you have all these ways to steal turns. And so while that, it means that you're not plus, definitely. But you have these different ways to do it. And so, man, the fact that he does forward 4 into grab here. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I missaw it. It's forward 4 into down 3, which into grab. That makes more sense. Okay.
And there you go. Wonderful environment interaction. Oh, sensible screen. And again, another drone drop coming through. The range advantage is definitely making a big difference in this match.
Because throws are not fast. They're 10 frame startup. Oh, that was sick.
He's a character that has to get in on this zoning. Tekken Master sitting there and blocking the forward 4. Taking it down 3. Not able to get much off it now. And
oh, he even jumped. Dang.
by bit, chisel his way back into this match, but he's drawing.
So I like the. Oh, dude, what a. He will not give up. So after the last one there, Tekken Master just presses down 1 after forward 4. Right, it was right here. Down 1. So the only way to beat this, if you're Foxy, is to do flawless block into whatever. So it's a little bit less commonly countered. But of course, the advantage for Tekken Master getting a down 1 here is like whatever. Like now it's his turn, but it's, you know, that doesn't go into a combo. It's just called a poke. You don't get a combo out of that. It's just coded not to work. So the advantage for this is not so great, but it's a pretty safe thing to do there. He only goes for down 3, and then Foxy goes for forward 4 again, and immediately jumps. So he was not taught the lesson. Like the intention of doing a down 1 is to be like, look, dude, just chill out. like stay here. Like let me take my turn. And Foxy saw that, and he got hit by it even, and he still jumped the next time. So Tekken Master thought that he had taught Foxy to sit still, hence the grab, and Foxy was like, nope, out of here. Oh, yeah, got to punish. Oh, interesting. Okay. He had offensive bar, right? So I'm surprised to see that he went into Fatal Blow here. I like that he didn't do... So there's a crush out of this string. If it's a punish or counter hit. So I get that he wouldn't want to spend the crushing blow. That makes a lot of sense to me. But I am surprised that he spent the fatal instead of just doing like EX spin. Whatever.
Again, you know, spend the fatal blow with the round. It's definitely worth it. Obviously, losing the fatal blow is quite a big deal. But again, right, he's still got crushing blows locked and loaded. He still has he doesn't need fatal blow to make his game work. I mean, that string that he punished it with could have crushing blow. He opted to use fatal blow.
Hey man, I just said that.
But it was a clutch block as well. You know,
oh, that was nice. That's what I'm talking about. That whole range right there. I'm surprised to see that that escape failed. The scoop on Foxy is that he does not just throws a lot, but back throws a lot.
Put Tekken Master a match point. So much pushback in the energy ring too. It's absolutely wonderful for establishing space.
There you go. So that range right there is hard to just throw fireballs mindlessly. You really got to be sure about it. The setup. Oh. Back 4. Okay, so he probably meant to do forward 4 there on the other side.
Forward 4. No defensive bar this time. Breakaway is impossible.
Right, so this is probably him. Yeah, he just didn't get the right side for sure. Is it safe? I actually don't know. I like never see his sweep. I do not know if it's safe. Minus 19. Dang. No, it is not safe, but nobody knows that. So Foxy doesn't punish. I'm sorry, so Tekken Master doesn't punish. Or did he try? Did he try? Oh, no, he dashed first. I bet he just could have done back 1.
Good tech. I love the tech. Overhead. Oh, he goes for the cancel instead. Whether that was a drop or not remains to be seen, but it's going to be good life all the same. Oh, we got under the ring, but the knowledge, the wake up. The mid, no crouch from Tekken Master. There it is, he gets it. Fatal blow. That's enough, that's gonna kill. It really has been the running theme of this set that almost every time Foxy goes for the grab, Tekken Master gets it, and it was a, you blocked the forward 4, surely you're not gonna do it again. And
you can hear the Middle Eastern guys in the background going nuts, right? He has 2 sweeps, 1 with hat, 1 without. I honestly had no idea. Are they different frame data? I do not know.
Tekken Master. Oh. Foxy, okay.
Ooh, that was cool. Oh,
Ooh, just a max range back one. Come out, Tekken Master. Down 3. Unfortunately, doesn't do much for him.
oof, trying to press buttons.
Gap, but
Yeah.
taking a lot of damage for it. Working his way in. The forward 4 is going to get blocked. Tekken Master enforcing his turn. There's the mid. A really good option because it's going over that down 3 that we know Foxy
Nice.
really needs to get his offense started. And there's the low. Foxy's not too worried about it, but that chip damage is.
I mean, Foxy has a very patient style. Very patient style. I mean, think back to his other characters. When he played Cassie, he played a very patient Cassie. I mean, that's Cassie. In previous games, he played patiently with Death Shoot. I don't know. What's Deadshot and Death Strike? No, Stroke. God, I will never get those two characters right. Deadshot, right? Deadshot. Okay, cool. Yeah, you might have thought it was boring to watch, but the point is that it was very, very solid and not taking risks and taking up a lot of space correctly and just not. He's patient, is what I'm trying to say. He's a patient guy. And so his style with Kung Lao reflects that. So his movement is walking. He occasionally jumps to enforce the dive kick sometimes, but typically it's just walking around. Even though Kung Lao has other, I mean, he could be doing teleport, right? I mentioned that. I don't think it's very good, but he could be doing it. He's, in general, just playing it solidly. Yeah, shoot dead. I don't know. What?
Get back down, apparently. Oh, this might be it.
Oh, that's it.
And that's going to be it. Tekken Master eliminating Foxy Grampa from the tournament.
Oh.
Alright, how does this one sound?
Hello, it's a test. Bam. Okay, so yeah, think back to Foxy's Kung Lao. So it's patient. He does a lot of forward 4. I don't know if we saw a single forward 1 stagger. The game is forward 4 or throw, and if forward 4 is blocked, do a thing. Sometimes block for sure, but oftentimes down 3, jump, throw, right? Some activity to try to steal a turn. Again, not always, naturally, but that's pretty commonly what he goes for. It's a very boiled down Kung Lao. And that's not bad. I mean, he's been doing he got 3rd place at a premiere. Like, he's extremely strong. I'm just trying to say that he's not, there's things in the character that he doesn't use. And that's just his own choice. So what I haven't talked to him about this specifically, but I feel like what probably happened is that when the game came out, he saw Kung Lao and he might have had some concerns. But one way to address concerns is to not do the things you're concerned about. And this is something we've seen a lot throughout the history of fighting games. A new character comes out. I remember when Melina came out. Well, when Melina was in MKX, before she died and she'll never come back. When the game was new, a lot of people were like, this character is, she's about the mix-up. Mix-up, and that's not safe, so she's bad. But then now he's not on screen anymore, but Foxy Grampa and a couple other players started just playing Footsie's Melina. To be fair, after a buff, but Footsie's Melina, and like not even doing the unsafe stuff. Like, why? You didn't need to do that. And she was good. In fact, she was very strong. And this is something that always happens, right? Like, you view the character in a different light. You don't have to use all of its tools, or alternatively, you have to explore all of the tools to find a good thing in it. And this, so we've seen this with a lot of characters, and I think that we're seeing it with Kung Lao as well, in a way that's positive to the evolution of the character. But now we're going to see Tekken Master versus Hayatei, and this is grand finals because he just beat Foxy Grampa in losers finals. And he makes a character pick that nobody expected.
so much going on for MK11. This is still a brand new game, and it's crazy to think that.
Yeah, people thought Akuma wasn't very strong. I mean, I didn't think he was the best when Akuma came out in SF5. I don't know if anybody thought he sucked, but yeah, it took me a while to admit that I thought he was top tier. Yeah, I mean, you know, you gotta wait and see sometimes.
Both underneath Foxy in terms of points, and the fact that they're now both in the grand finals for Viennality means the two of them have jumped up in the.
By the way, I think this is hilarious because I do this all the time. The commentators are talking to each other, and the way that happens is you're not like looking at the screen and just talking with the sitting next to you. You're just like looking at the person. Hey, what's up, ketchup or mustard? Whoever's talking right now. Blah, blah, blah. We're chatting. You're not looking at the match. You're not looking at the screen. And meanwhile, he's gone with Kung Lao. And they do not yet realize.
Both in the grand finals of Viennality means the two of them have jumped up in the rankings, and they needed it so bad. But the victory here is going to be a big deal. A really big deal. Tekken Master needs the points more.
And now they're probably looking at the screen, but it's too late.
The fact he was actually able to enter Combo Breaker gave him a little bit of a head start. But he is on the grand finals on the winner's side.
And they don't know yet.
1 3 out of 5. Tekken Master has to reset the bracket and then win a second time in a row.
One half man to another.
Wait, is this for real? Is this real?
Right? You see how like long it took? That's hilarious.
Is Tekken Master bringing Kung Lao? Surely not. I'm gonna assume. I mean, never say never. He plays a lot of characters. Wait, no, we are? Okay, Tekken Master bringing out the hat-tricks Kung Lao. I am gonna call.
So it's hat-tricks Kung Lao, of course, the same variation that Foxy played. But I want you to pay attention to how differently he uses the character. It's quite different. I mean, he's always been somebody who's had a different style with things. He is more willing to take bets. You know, think back to his like Atrocitus and just being willing to do the unsafe overhead low. He's just like willing to do it. His style with, you know, Devora was the same kind of way. He just is willing to take risks. Kodal, like he's willing to do stuff, and it's quite different than Foxy. But we'll see how it goes. Right? We never saw a teleport the entire time. The entire time that Foxy was on screen, we never saw a teleport. And now Tekken Master's been playing for 11 seconds, and there's been a teleport immediately. So it's we never saw that string by Foxy. I don't know he ever did that, and he definitely didn't do it cancel it into Z hat. So this is what I think's going on here is that Tekken Master has identified that A, he thinks Kung Lao's pretty good. B, he thinks that Hayatei probably has not seen a Kung Lao who's going to play like he's about to play. Because if your experience with this character is Foxy, pressing forward 4 and throw, and jumping occasionally, and being very patient, the Tekken Master is about to blow you out.
Well, we did see Hayatei versus Foxy as our first match of winners top 8, and it
right?
did go down to a game 5. So maybe Tekken Master, you know, he's been here, he's been.
Yeah, look how fast he's moving. He's just jumping everywhere.
Was playing the matchup. They was like, right, if I was playing here, I know what I'd do. And
the hat went over? Is that what happened?
They was like, right, if I was playing here, I know.
Why didn't the stance shoot the hat?
They was playing the matchup. They was like, right, if I was playing here, I know what I'd do. And this is.
Did it? Maybe what happened is that as he's putting his fist out, the shot is here. It's like already beyond the hat, and then the hat materializes and it starts to move. I feel like that's probably what happened there.
Chance to really show it why. Well, we already saw actually one of the changes that Tekken Master, that forward 1 string that goes into a low hat. You very rarely see players actually extend it into Z hat.
You know, I mean, what a guy. Yeah, right. So Napalm says that forward 1-3 into Z hat is definitely a gimmick. There's a huge gap there. But if you think that the opponent's going to try to do something there, as Hayatei just tried to do, like he tried to last time, which is why he got hit by the Z hat. He didn't move fast enough, but you know, he's very strong. He'll adapt quickly. And this next time, Tekken Master tries it again. I don't even know what the string is on forward 1-3. I don't know how you end it. What does it end with? Forward 1-3 up +2, which is -6. Okay, but I believe there's a big gap, right? Right, that's got to be this is a 25 frame startup on that last hit. That's got to be like flawless block gap. But I've never seen it, so I actually don't know. It is a huge gap, and it's a high as well. Okay. No, I don't have the Switch here. I have my tablet with combatacademy.com up. Oh yeah, it does say hi. Dang. Deadly path.
Right? There may be a gap there. That may be punishable. Who knows? I'm sure we'll find out soon. But
Anyway, let's see how it plays out here. But Tekken Master's strategy of coming in with stuff that he thinks Hayatei hasn't seen is definitely working. I mean, what, look at the very, very different style of Kung Lao that he's bringing out. He just did forward 1-3 into teleport to try to escape an expected punish. And he was totally right. And he takes the round, you know what I mean? Like, he's playing this so differently. Thank you. Oh, too late. He did forward 1 into Z-Hat? Oh my god. And if you're Hayatei here, you just feel like the biggest dingus for getting hit by this stuff.
This is absolutely insane. Gets the down 1, but can't get the special on the end. Forward 4 again.
And one thing about Hayatei is that his style... Hello and thank you. His style is patient as well. I mean, occasionally he makes the bet, but his Erron is not doing like back 2 into slide very often. It's basically back 2-2-2, the this thing we just saw. He's like always canceling that into the stance just to be safe. Like there's very little in the way of that into the low slide mix up. He's just he's playing Erron in a safe way. So for him to be up against Tekken Master who's doing crazy stuff is pretty big deal. Forward 1-3 teleport will still get blown up. I mean, I'm sure you can punish it, right? But do you have to punish it by... It's got to be a different thing, right? Like it can't be... You can't beat forward 1-3 Z-Hat in the same way that you beat forward 1-3 teleport, right? Or could you? Like maybe Baraka could do forward 2, because it's like, could you just hit him before the startup comes in either way? So you're hitting him before he teleports, right? Like during the startup of teleport. Is that what's going on? Yeah. Okay. Well, that makes sense then. But I guess you have to have thought about that, right? Like you have to have played against it before, and I really think that Hayatei has not seen a Kung Lao do this stuff. At least not like a high-level Tekken Master level player.
The end of that string does have a big gap. Maybe that's a call-out, expecting Hayatei to try and blow it up with the flawless block, and he's just trying to hit him with a spin. Tekken Master, he's willing to make these like dangerous decisions, but if it's right, the payout is huge, and he's willing to do it.
Oh, that was actually a punish.
On the down 1.
Oh.
The string of their own black is high.
Hello, commentators.
Takes a long time to recover. As the shot, Tekken Master far away. Hayatei.
Oh, he tried it. Yeah, that makes sense. But that was a really good low shot.
Doesn't work out, but here he is. He's point blank. The throw comes out again.
Good movement by the character.
Sitting there waiting for a forward 4.
Oh,
Ouch.
the hammock.
This is scary territory. Both fatal blow. Oh, there's the way.
Oh, it worked. I mean, I'm telling you, like, I really feel like, I mean, everybody's seen a Kung Lao try to do the teleport mix-up, but have you played against somebody at this level who's doing it? I feel like Hayatei has not. So there's like easy counters here. Like you could just do down 1 and then down 1 again. It doesn't need to be the big down 2 commitment. In fact, it probably shouldn't be. But down 1, or you could just neutral jump, you could backdash. Like there's like any number of things that you can do. But if this is the first time you're facing it, then you're like, oh, okay, down 2 didn't work. Next time I'll do something else. But in the meantime, okay.
He's gonna steal the Hayatei. Oh, there's the wait. Oh, the early down 2 Hayatei. Oh, the wake
Dang.
fatal blow. He's gonna steal the round.
The armor.
He's gonna take it. It's gonna cost the fatal blow for sure. Now you said before, right, about how that there could be the element.
Yeah, you shouldn't do down 2, right? It's down 1 or stand 1 or something else. Like it depends on the character and stuff.
The amplified teleport. Typically, the thing you see players do is they'll move out of the way, and then they'll just, he can't change where he comes up, right? Only when. So a lot of players don't move, and then they'll just whip punish. But Hayatei, he was sitting there the whole time. Oh,
Yeah, and the brothers are identifying it too. Like it definitely seems that Hayatei is not as familiar.
Ooh, he did have the escape failed, locked and loaded. We can't forget about that one. Damage to bring Tekken
Ooh, very
back
nice.
into the fight. He's going to confirm now. Instant jump, take some damage, but
Dude, he steals so many turns.
buttons into the Z-Hat. This is one of those different.
What is regular? What's amplified Z-Hat on block? 0. Okay. Because I think it's slightly negative in regular. Yeah, -8.
More buttons into the Z-Hat. This is one of actually cancelling a lot more. Take some damage, but
Woof.
yeah, just actually cancelling a lot more buttons into the Z-Hat. This is one of those different pieces of flair, and when Tekken Master has so many games that he needs to win, you kind of need to enforce some of that. Unfortunately, he's going to get clipped now. Full combo, can't throw the acid, it's already in play.
Oh, that could have been much bigger.
He can still win if he gets a fatal blow. Oh, now Tekken Master.
Escape failed?
Knocked down.
Why?
And he
Oh.
calls it.
Oh, I wonder if he was neutral
Makes a
ducking.
brave decision, but
Well, let's see what it was.
and he calls it.
No, he just was he trying to jump or something? He wasn't ducking that. I don't know.
Doesn't work out, and I guess right, live and die by
This is Shark Teeth.
There it is, Hayatei.
Another player from the Middle East. They play with each other a lot.
It was nobody expected this, but it came really close to winning.
And you know, Tekken Master is doing really cool stuff in the Middle East scene. Like he's in Bahrain, Shark Teeth's in Saudi. Players are kind of all strewn around the area there. And he runs online tournaments for Middle Eastern players.
Get over here!
Whoa! Oh dang! Thanks for the host, man, or for whatever it is from Schiaci. Schiaci sempre. Thanks, dude. Good job on E-League, man.
But some of them are reactable and some of them aren't so much. But you really have to just choose what it's going to be.
Still doing it, man.
Ultimately, I mean, in my opinion, like the reason I think some of those plays went skew from Tekken Master.
Okay. So starting to finally see variation in terms of what he's doing there. Yo! Oh, that would have been such a sick combo. Yeah, Hayatei not taking risks like that.
However,
Oh, bummer.
Master staying true to his guns, and he's got a really good start here versus Hayatei. So yeah, just sit there and take it. It does chip out significantly. It does add a nice little bit of finishing touches there when it comes to chip damage.
Dang. So, you know, think back again to what we were seeing from Foxy and how it was basically walk, jump sometimes, dive kick on reaction, and then up close, it's like forward 4-0 throw. He's boiled it down. This dude is playing some different type of way. I mean, he's hopping, he's using the interactables, he's jumping a lot. Lots of different button choices.
However, Tekken Master staying true to his guns, and he's got a really good start here versus Hayatei.
You know, into Z-Hat, into forward 4, and I mean, he's constantly doing something. Jump into teleport. Who expects it?
Poking with the full string, very brave stuff. And again, Hayatei opting not to go for the slide, expecting the breakaway from Tekken Master, keeping himself as safe as possible. Throw Tekken.
Dang, right into pressure too. Okay, but I mean, you know, shoutouts to Hayatei. Like I said, he's a super strong player. He adapts very fast, and he has, I feel, some of the best footsies in the NRS scene. He's really good at it. So, you know, you're not gonna get away with nonsense versus him very long, even if it's something he's not as familiar with.
These cancels can be a little bit unexpected. Down 3, and the grab comes out late, but it still works. Hayatei now.
Sometimes you gotta throw people out of the corner, man. That's the mix. Dang, worked it. Oh, but he did change up what he did here. Down 1.
Bad decision away.
So what he did here is down 1, wait. And that is cool. So some characters need to do that to combo. Some characters basically need to do down 1, okay, then into my like juggle. Because most characters can juggle after they hit a down 1 in this. I guess I don't know specifically what Erron would do, but I'm sure he's got something. But the better way to handle it is down 1, down 1, down 1. Like, just keep it up. And if he had, like, you can see the startup at the second down 1 here. Like, he's trying it again. And he's just a few frames off from it being active and beating the overhead as it came out.
But I like how Tekken Master is saving it for when Hayatei is really low as well, right? When all he needs to do is just for it to hit once, and that's going to do it.
Oof, they had the same idea.
This is, actually is 1-0 for Hayatei right now when you're the overlay is wrong.
You can blow it up so well. Oh, God.
We're going to get that sorted out. Knocked down. Stomp on him. I wouldn't stomp on Kung Lao's hat like that. He's like slicing his foot clean in half. And jump kick. And he can confirm forward 1.
Nice.
Advancing. Ooh, how about that for a jump kick? Up 3. Stealing back a turn.
Oh, that's high. Yep.
Hayatei knows it. Now, we're not seeing anyone kind of optimally punish the whiff 2-1 yet, but I think we may as the set goes on. A lot of players are kind of just content, take the poke, take the advantage. And I guess that's assuming Tekken Master sticks with all the way, because if it's 2-0,
so this is one nice thing that I feel the character converts really well. And even like basic combos for this guy are 250 minimum, 400 max. Like he does a lot of damage.
Oh, no crushing blow, and he tries to wake up fatal blow. Fortunately, it's only going to get meted by a down 3, which means that Tekken Master has a lifeline. One more, and now We're back to that one territory.
Dude, I mean, every time I see it, I think it's gonna get blown up, and it's just not. Look at how Hayatei reacts here. Typically, Hayatei is like, just kind of, he's like nodding, he's like ready to go, you know, he's like very sure of himself. And here, look at him. Oh, he's got to put himself back together. Oh, so look at what happens on the right side of the screen. Look who walks up. Foxy Grampa. Somebody who knows that button into Z-Hat is not legit. And who I'm sure knows, like, it was Pizza Dad who was saying that if Kung Lao does button into Z-Hat or button into teleport, you can still blow both of them up in the same way. You know Foxy knows this, right? That's probably why he doesn't do it. So he tries to walk up to the stage. But just to the right of the screen here is somebody who works either for Viennality or for the guys running the Mortal Kombat Pro competition. I don't remember who it was, but somebody there. And only one person can be the coach. And you have to register who that person's going to be before your match. So it can't be that Foxy just walks up there and gives him advice without him having already been the coach. And there's no way Hayatei expected this to be a Kung Lao matchup. There's no way he thought to be like, hey, Foxy, would you like to help me out? Like, there's no way. So it does not work. And as a result, Hayatei continues to be on his own. But like I said, he's so fast in adapting. And it's a 3 out of 5 set.
For Tekken Master, building his game around these specials. And it is, again, it's a classic Tekken Master pick. It's something a little bit...
I don't remember any of this.
A bit unorthodox from him by his standards. But again, you know, I'm not too surprised. We know Tekken Master always plays a lot of character. I think they're trying to see if Foxy is able to be Hayatei's coach. But I don't think it's being allowed. I don't think it was designated beforehand.
There you go.
Actually has one. Not really, no. Well, we have 2 games done, and potentially plenty more of this.
Oof, man. Shout out to the stance. That thing is so good. What? That was great. I love that mobility. Maybe that's why too.
Now, find a new rival.
Thank you. Maybe that's part of why Tekken Master has gone with Kung Lao. It's really good that Erron has the puddle because it forces movement.
Find a new rival.
Thank you. It forces movement in the sense that you don't want to be on the acid naturally. You take damage over time. So most characters, their movement over it is just a regular jump. And that's predictable, and you're in the sky for however long, and maybe you can get Landsies punished, yada yada. Or you walk, which means that you're taking damage. And Erron can make it so that you don't want to walk due to the threat of the stance into the EX, or he can bring out the rifle, or he could do one of his strings that has a far projectile. He's got these ways to make you sit still, or the threat of a slide, or the threat of a forward 4. But Kung Lao can do this. So, hey, that actually makes a lot of sense to me. So if it's that plus that he just expects that Hayatei like doesn't know what he's gonna do, I think that's pretty cool.
We questioned it at the start, but it's definitely working out. I mean, I feel like we've reached a point where we should just start questioning character changes from Tekken Master anyway, because how many times has he gone to what is a really odd pick, but it's made perfect sense, and he's actually done really well in tournament with it. It's what he's really known for.
I don't even know what it is. What is that? So it looked like a low starter. Is this probably like a, what do we got, like a back 3 or something? Yeah, back 3. Back 3, 2, 1, which is -4. But that's got to be a huge flawless block in the middle, right? Back 3. Oh, no doubt. No doubt. You could probably just interrupt it, right? Let me know, Kung Lao players. You could probably just press a button there.
MKX that he got second at Evo with. But this is just definitely a different take. And
big gap, yeah.
The biggest part of this is that it's just so different.
That makes sense. But again, if you are coming into this, like I had to just do the research. I mean, I'm not as good as Hayatei, obviously, but I had to do the research here. So I wonder if Hayatei is just like, oh,
pick.
What is this?
It made perfect sense, and he's actually done
What are
really
you?
well.
You're like dancing on me? I've never seen this before. And then he tries to do something. I don't know. I'd love to know, but I feel like that just must be him not knowing what's coming.
Definitely a different take, and I honestly think the biggest part of this is that it's just so different. It's this way of approaching the character.
Sometimes you gotta throw out of the corner, man. Yep.
And he's having no time to try and adapt to
We did do back to slide.
First time I've seen Hayatei go to the low.
Almost never.
Tekken master, there's the breakaway. Oh, they're just a walk-up grab. Right,
Dang, is he gonna steal this? I don't remember.
This could be scary. Knocked down. What's the play?
Oh, he did.
And Hayatei
Wow. What a comeback.
Gonna catch Tekken master on the way up. Just getting hit raw by the standing two. Hayatei taking the round. Moving on, saves the fatal blow as
It's
well.
so good.
Hasn't lost too many resources.
What a call from far away to do the low than the standing one. Like, he's so good.
Jump kick, enforcing some more frames. Tekken master probably expecting some sort of cancel. Tries to interrupt late.
It seems like Hayate is just willing to stand there for that, and I really don't think that what does Erron do? I'm trying to think about what my characters would do. Like probably just like Setran forward 2, Baraka forward 2, probably maybe forward 4 even. Sweep. I feel like there's a lot of stuff. What does he do? Forward 3? But he's just seems like he's gonna take it. Forward 3 is 13 frames. Okay, yeah, I mean that makes sense to me.
You know what that means. Now it could be party time. Oh, max range jump kick. I like it.
Yeah, he's definitely, that is to say, Hayate is definitely just taking stuff and feels like he can just win anyway. But he's probably right about that.
Again, it's just if you throw it out that one time.
Ah. Okay. He didn't do the rest. What's that startup here? 15 frame startup on forward 2. So yeah, you have a lot of frames. 15's working. So that's like a free forward 4 counter hit as Baraka, essentially. Okay, good to know.
Ah, this is a bit of a matchup change, I think. The fact that it is indeed interruptible. Hayatei found the answer.
That's good to know.
Will it be the be-all end-all? Will it make a difference? Confirm. Acid puddle. Tekken master in trouble. Tries to wake up fatal blow.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
top 3 is 2
So
games
at the
left.
end there,
One game away from winning.
you know, Tekken Master's tricks are not working out as well. It makes total sense how he would go back to character select and switch it up. You know, that's very smart. And he is gonna switch it up here. So yeah, he went with Erron Black. And dude, like Tekken, like what a guy, right? I've been mentioning how he's playing Erron Black. I'm sorry, playing Kung Lao so differently than Foxy. He's like more active, doing stuff more. He starts out with the hammock immediately. Immediately. Whereas for Hayate, we've seen him play 3 games now, and he did. Has he even done? He did one time, and it was not at the start. And he has done 1 back 2 into slide. In general, only back 2-2-2 into cancel, or back 2, yeah, back 2-2 into cancel, yeah. And just like immediately a different start. Immediately.
I mean, when Tekken Master's back to the corner, he will do the most insane of hard read plays, and you know it's so historic.
Dang, wake up down 3.
If there's any time to pull that out, it's going to be now. Here comes a duck into a crushing blow down 2. That's going to be one of them. The down 2's gone for the rest of the game, but he's already got half life in round 1 for it.
Anyway, y'all should really watch. It's a really good match. Well, I guess I'll just let it play like while I'm chatting, just as a way to kind of have stuff going on in the background. Let's talk about Kung Lao. So, like I said, when the game came out, a lot of people slept on him a little bit, me included, for sure. And there were some reasons for that. One was that we felt that his tools were too unsafe. That in general, he puts himself at minus frames. even when he's safe, he's like -3, -7. Like he's not. It's not plus. And we're thinking back to when MKX launched and Orbital Hat was that I think it was +27. It was something like astronomical. Now they changed that, but that's like what I'm thinking about in comparison. Like right, and Orbital Hat in this game's -7. So that was initial impression, and while it was immediately clear that he could deal big damage, it was not like so much greater than other characters. Oh, dude.
Now, find a new rival.
This is so silly. Scud shot, dude. What a move. What a move. The damage for Kung Lao is high, but it's not so high to like way separate him from other characters who also have safer tools or great mix-ups or great zoning. Think of like Sonya, for example. Great mix-ups and zoning. He doesn't have he's not like an overhead low character. His zoning is not as strong. His damage is not as high. So we're like, why? But as the game has evolved, we've thought more about other stuff. One is that his movement is strong. He has the dive kick threat from far. If you have an orbital hat, like somebody in the chat was saying earlier, if you have an orbital hat on, then you can do teleport, and it's pretty hard to beat. You just kind of have to take the mix-up. But that comes at quite an expense, right? The offensive and defensive meter. But you can do it. And then the other one is kind of tied to that, which is that our views of meter have changed. So rather than feeling like meter is precious, the game gives you meter. It just gives it to you. You don't have to do it. This is amazing. Scud shot is so dumb. What a move. But the game just gives you meter. So if you just hang out for a little while, you don't need to build meter in the same way that you have in the past. You can just do it. And that means that your sort of way you deal with meter. This match is crazy. The way that you deal with meter has to be different, and I think we've gotten to the point now where we do deal with it differently, where spending an offensive bar and a defensive bar doesn't feel as expensive as it did before. Like, think about some of the strongest things in the game. Reborn Scorpion's teleport cancel is amazing. It's so good. It costs a defensive meter. In the beta, it costs 2 defensive meters, and people were like, oh, that's it's too expensive, horrible, terrible move. Now, there's some people who are like, maybe it should have cost 2 bars of defensive meter, because it just, the way that we view meter is a little different. And I think that Kung Lao has been a major beneficiary of that, in terms of both canceling Z-Hat and bringing out Orbital Hat, like both sides. So if that's true, then that makes him seem less weak. So that movement, right? And then in addition to that, the fact that we have a better understanding of what to do in a negative situation. You can steal turns in ways that are really good. And some of them have always existed in Mortal Kombat games. You could always have ducked a high attack, for example. You could always have jumped a throw. Like, these are things that have existed. But there's more than that now. You can do, if the opponent doesn't attack back, you can do a flawless block into up 2 to blow them up. If you neutral duck a grab, you can now get a crushing blow. And if you neutral duck a high, you can get a crushing blow into giant damage. So before, maybe your punish was a little bit, but now it's a lot. So there are these... in addition to that, there are more attacks that are high that are important than before. Some of the strongest characters in the game have very fast mids, and that's part of why they're so strong. But in general, the fast buttons are highs. And so for many characters, taking their turn back really fast is either a down 1 or down 3 poke, which doesn't lead to much by itself, or a high attack, which can be blown up. That exists more in this game than in previous iterations of MK. So stealing a turn is easier now than before. And on wake up, if you get knocked down, like, you have delayed wake up, you have wake up roll, you have wake up attack. Every character has a wake up attack. It's not like before where some characters were asked out. So there are all these new ways to steal turns that I think Kung Lao has also been a huge beneficiary of. Yeah, meter's on cooldown now. It's just a way to, you just get it back. It's a time-based thing. Tekken Master, man. Sometimes he does it.
The crushing blow as well, knows that the breakaway is coming and decides it's not worth it, but the fatal blow is there. Walks straight into it, the
That's it. Yeah.
Chip damage. Is that enough? Ooh, okay. Didn't have the defensive bar. A tournament point for Hayatei.
Oh man, you gotta watch this round.
We're going to see in the next 90 seconds or less. Oh, acid. Established already. Oh, yeah, too close for Hayatei to risk it himself. The drop kick.
That's a crushing blow if that connects twice in a row.
This is insane. The confirm launch breakaway. You had no choice. Not back now. Oh, down for max range. Tekken Master is neutrals playing real ball. Loses the trade in the scud shot. I mean, ultimately the knockdown is guaranteed acid puddle. Right?
Scud shot, dude. What a move.
He lies down on the acid.
He actually didn't have offensive bar to amplify it, but I don't know if Tekken Master realized it.
Down one. Gets a jump in. He gets a grab. Escape failed. Uh-oh. Spaghettios. That doesn't mean a lot for Hayatei now if he gets grabbed. The delay wake up though. He's being careful. Into the scud shot. Big jump in the block. The environment interaction gets out of that corner immediately. Oh!
Woo!
Max range drop kick. The roll. All the bar being spent.
Scud shot, dude. Oh my god. Oh, he did it again?
Oh, the jump in. Jump. No, the neutral crowd at last minute. Wow. He has breakaway, but this is a last chance. The wake up. This very well might be the tournament. I think that's it. I think that's it. No. Maybe. What? Oh, my God. That's going to be PG Hayatei defeating Tekken Master. The last possible hit. And the room explodes.
There you go. That was a great tournament. Man, just great grand finals. A lot of really interesting characters shown. I mentioned all the characters that were there, right? This was... Let me say it again. So, Hayatei, Erron Black. Tekken Master, Sonya, Geras, Erron Black. Kung Lao, Foxy, Kung Lao. Dizzy Sonya, Boki, Kung Lao. Okay. Then Asadomatsu, Cetrion, Yemeni, Johnny, Shark Teeth, Scorpion, Cassie. So there were 8 different characters used, I guess. That's cool. And when people in MK scene are like worried about there being too many of one character, you're not thinking of Kung Lao. You're thinking of, I mean, a few. Cassie, Jackie, Sonya, something like that. Previously Geras, although that seems to have kind of dropped off. Previously Scorpion, although also seems kind of dropped off. But no, it was Kung Lao. 3 Kung Laos in the top 8 of Viennality. I don't think he had it. I that was my immediate thought too. Let me go back, but I believe he did not yet have the fatal blow when he got the down 2 crushing blow.
Gets out of that corner immediately. Oh! Max range drop kick, the roll. Oh, the bar being spent. Nothing on defense for Tekken Master. He can't get opened up anymore. Oh, the drop kick again. Oh, the jump in. Jump. No,
Yeah, he did not. It was Hayatei who had it.
Wow. He has breakaway, but this
Yeah.
the wake up.
Because if he had had it, he definitely would have spent it. But
I think that's it. No. Maybe.
bam. Yeah, Kung Lao. Kung Lao's good. I still don't think that I would put him up there. Like, I don't know if anybody would put him up there with the best. Like the characters I just mentioned. Like, I think most of us now think that it's like Cassie, Jackie, Sonya, something like that are probably the best 3. Maybe there's a couple of stragglers in there, but no, I don't think anybody would have Kung Lao there. The next tier, though, I've seen some people say that he's there. That he's there with who? Erron, Scorpion, Geras. I don't know. Whoever you want to put there. Cetrion, Baraka, whatever it is. But he is a good character. And is he top 10? Maybe. But there's not that... How many characters are in this game? It's not like a lot. It is... I gotta count them up every time, even though I've definitely done this before. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Is he top 10 out of 26? Maybe. Maybe. I mean, you know, I could see that. You recently had a tournament in Brazil. Any chance you can do a match review on the grand final? That sounds cool. That sounds like a lot of fun. Yeah, send me a link. Just send me a link on Twitter at UltraDavid. Just DM it to me if possible. I have open DMs. So slide in. Hayatei grabs his hat. I don't even remember. Let's see. This is quite a mix right here, because there are players from all over the world right here. Like, so this is Hayatei, of course. These are the two UK players who come up to congratulate him. You have a Greek player on the right who also lived in the US. You got Italians coming up now. Like, wow, what a mix to congratulate this Canadian. That's hilarious. I like that roster size myself. I don't need there to be a lot. Keep watching. What happens? Oh, well, there you go. Yeah. That guy is one of the Italian players, I think. If I recall correctly. Oh, yeah, I'm flipping him off. Yeah, like I said, I don't know what the deal is. Whatever. I'm not too worried about it. I don't think that he flipped off Tekken Master. I think I heard that he flipped off Aziz, but I don't know. I don't really care, to be honest. So yeah, Kung Lao's good. And you know, you gotta be willing to like be honest about reevaluating characters. I thought he didn't seem very good when the game first came out. I never thought he was bad, but I didn't think he was good. And I mentioned earlier that I had my own take it a tier list, which was not just ordering them in terms of obvious tiers, but what I feel is more practical myself, which is that the top tier is the characters who can win a tournament by themselves. They don't need a backup. They're just tournament winning characters. Then the characters that can win a tournament, but they need a secondary to back them up for some bad matchups. And then the characters who can win a tournament, but only as a secondary. They only win some matchups, so they need a main character to play along with. And then characters who just like shouldn't be on a team. You just like shouldn't play them. They're bad. I don't think anybody in this game is that low tier of characters who just like can't be part of a tournament winning team. But I think I had Kung Lao in can be a secondary, if I recall correctly. I definitely didn't have him in can win a tournament by himself. And I don't think I even had him in can win a tournament as a main. It might have been that, but it definitely was not can win by himself. Now I think he can win a tournament by himself. Why not? Foxy Grampa got to 3rd place overall just playing Kung Lao, and he's been in top 8 both all 3 times so far that there's been a pro competition event, mostly with Kung Lao, especially in the last 2 times, both CEO and here. So yeah, why not? Hayatei is super strong, no doubt. Yeah. Well, there you go. So Tweety's Frost pick, that's something that I really want to look into as well. I mean, I was commentating at the time, but I was confused at the time why he went with that character. I mean, I talked with him about it, and he said that he thinks that Frost beats some characters, and that she is, while not terribly strong overall, that she has important good matchups. And I think he played that versus Ninja Killer, wasn't it? Ninja Killer Liu Kang. But he lost it. But, you know, Tweety Frost lost. If I recall correctly. Let me know if that's wrong, but that's my recollection there. And like before I saw Frost play, I was like, I don't know, this is the one you want to use. Like Liu Kang has good projectiles himself, and he's got a really fast dragon kick to just get in. And once he's up close, Frost has slow buttons. So is that what you like? Is that a situation you want to be in? And you know, Tweety did lose, but he's way better than me. So I mean, you know, that's cool. I hope that does end up working out. I'm sure he knows. What I expect is for there to be more variety. You know who I really like, and this is not a unique take, is Shang Tsung. We all think he's good. He's good. But I like him not just because he's good. I like him because I think he changes the meta. He, I think, has important good matchups. Like, he zones out some of the terrors. Like, he zones out Jackie, for example, in my opinion. He doesn't do that easily because up skulls are actually punishable by the Jax punch at a certain range.
Now, find a new rival.
But I do think that he opens it up more by having a strong zoner. There's not that many strong zoners in this game. I feel like that's a really useful character to have in your deck. Yeah. You think he's boring? Oh, dude, I think he's so cool. I think Shang is so cool in this game. I actually don't expect him to dominate. I don't expect people are talking about multiple Shangs in top 8. I don't expect it. I could see though that he's a backup for multiple players. So that wouldn't be surprising to me. But if two like Shang mains make it to top 8, I think I would be surprised. Not that he's bad, it's just that I think there's like other really good characters too. But like I said, if somebody has him as like a secondary to deal with some matchups, I would understand that. That seems more plausible. I think he's awesome to watch. Yeah, like I love his zoning. It is hard to deal with. His zoning is really good. His his high straight skull is his release on it is not obvious. So while other characters are doing some super baraka like slices his spines, it's like very clear that he's going to throw out a blade spark. And for Sonya, she brings the rings out. It's very clear. Their position is very clear that it's going to be a ring. For Shang, he just kind of like puts his arm up and the skull comes out. And the reason I'm bringing this up is that I feel it's a little harder to flawless block if against that than it is versus other projectiles, because there's just not as much time to like know that it's a skull as versus other characters. And especially that's true for the up skull. I have not flawless blocked an up skull on purpose yet. Like it's just really hard. That is to say, I haven't done it on reaction yet. I've made the read a couple of times, but I haven't done it on reaction. I feel like that's really tough. So flawless blocking versus him is harder, I think, than lots of others. I think he's cool. It's a lot of fun. I've been thinking about picking him up. You know, I always try to play a grappler and a zoner. And the way that I'm playing Baraka, Command Grab Baraka, is basically as a grappler and a zoner, kind of. Because he's got a really good projectile and really good anti-air. But I'm also playing Cetrion. I just think that maybe Shang would fit me better in terms of what I want to do in zoning. But I haven't really done it yet. I've been mostly traveling. So dashing through the up skulls is a range specific thing, and it's not. You will definitely get it if you're keeping your eyes open, but if you're playing against a good Shang, I feel like that shouldn't come up very often. Yeah, that plus corpse drop. Corpse drop, I do flawless block. Like that seems more doable to me because he there's this whole startup animation where he does this, and he like has the scroll come out. And it's like I feel it's very clear. So I can flawless block that part, even though that's really good because that makes you stand still. But the rest of it I think is pretty hard myself. Mortal Kombat. Well, I guess that's about it. You know, I gotta get to work. I do these streams in the morning, typically starting around 9 or 10 Pacific time. And then I end by about noon Pacific time, which is almost soon.